In this next tutorial, we'll take a look at the score editor, sometimes called a notation editor. This is particularly good for those of you who read music. If you don't read music, it won't be so helpful, but you should take a look at it anyway. Couple of things I should mention. This may have been bothering some of you as you watched the previous videos. When these tracks imported, all tracks are highlighted, and if you're new to Pro Tools, it might be kind of frustrating. You might think, how do I unselect them so they're not all highlighted? What you can do is hold the Option key down on your computer keyboard, then click on one of the names. That will deselect them all. And then from that point forward, you can select them one track at a time. All right, so let's get back to this rowboat clip. I did not save my changes after the last tutorial. So at this point, I have that rowboat clip with the pitch bender edit information deleted. I saved after I did that, but I did not save after the last tutorial where I corrected the wrong notes. So I've highlighted the clip just as before. We're going to go up to the Window menu, and this time we'll open Score Editor. And as I said a minute ago, I'll reiterate it again. That's redundant, sorry, reiterate it. The score editor is sometimes called a notation editor, and it presents your MIDI notes in standard music notation, as you see here. Because the clip is highlighted, all of the notes are currently showing up as highlighted. And those of you who read music might notice that the default was for this to open up in a grand staff, which is not really necessary for this particular track. This particular track, all of the notes fit well into the treble clef. So we can change that. The way we're going to change it is I'm going to take my mouse and I'm going to right click in this area to open up a menu. And what I'm going to select is way down here, nearly at the bottom of the drop-down menu. I'm going to choose Notation Display Track Settings, and I'll let go. And it opens up this window. And now, what you see in this window, I can choose any track that I want to look at, and I can make changes to that track, how it displays. I'm going to go back to Rowboat 1. It's currently selected Grand Staff. Let me move this out of the way so you can see the change occur as I apply it. I'm going to change Grand Staff to Treble Clef. And you notice that it changed to the treble clef. Pretty cool, eh? Let's go ahead and close that window for now. And let's look at the notes we have, and we'll play the music. There's the wrong note. And as the music plays, you notice the little marker scrolling across, so it's really easy to spot the wrong notes. Again, this window also has the different tools on top. The trim tool, selector tool, and the grabber tool. I'm going to use that grabber tool, and I'm going to click right on the wrong note. That first sound you heard was because all of the notes were still selected. So when I clicked on one, they all sounded. I had to click outside of that note. Whoops, didn't mean to add a new note there. So I'm going to do Command Z as in zebra to undo it. Now that my notes are deselected, I'm going to click right on that one that I want to change and drag it down. I want to drag it down to the note G. G, I guess it would be in G4. There it is. And let's listen to that. There it is. Yeah, G4 was the right call. The G just above middle C. The last note is still wrong. Listen to it. Okay, so obviously it should not be this G sharp way up here. It should be the same tonic note that we started on. So I need to drag it down to middle C. Great if you know that using your music theory skills, but even if you don't, if you're not sure, you can still trust your ear, because as I drag this down, you'll notice that we hear the notes. So we can do it by ear or by music theory, either way. There it is. Let's listen. So that's pretty cool. Great for people who read music notation. Let me show you one other thing before we get out of this little tutorial. And it's a method for switching quickly back and forth between the MIDI editor and the score editor or notation editor. So I've highlighted the clip. I'm going to open up the MIDI editor this time, which is a graphic editor. And over here in the upper left, there's a little pair of 16th notes. That icon enables notation view. So you can switch back and forth really quickly. Okay, just like that. And one more thing, in the File menu at the bottom, near the bottom, we can go to Score Setup. Open up a little window that allows us to name a score. We can save this when we're finished as a standard MIDI file, which can be opened up in any music notation program. Pro Tools is owned by Avid, who also owns music notation program called Sibelius. And Pro Tools and Sibelius work hand in hand together. So we can set up things like name the piece, name the composer, set up a whole bunch of settings specific to the overall score that we're creating. And at the end of our working on our project, not only will we have something we can listen to, but we can send it to a notation program or print it up as a printed score and hand out parts to the musicians, etc. It's really kind of a neat feature. Okay, that's it for this tutorial.